Hey key holders, before this video begins, just wanted to let you know that I had to split this recording up into two parts, so you guys won't be hearing my outro or the intro for the next video. But yeah, with that, I'll let you guys get to the video and please enjoy. Hello, keyholders. My name is Brogar DM, and welcome back to another episode of Our Life Beginning and Always. Today, we are going to be going through the barbecue and runaway setups and maybe sleepover. I'll see, because I know that there may be a beginning of the next step in the life that we may want to do as well. So we'll see how long the other two take, and then if they're short, we'll just do sleepover real fast. But yeah, let's go ahead and get straight into it, you guys. Hopefully I don't stutter as much on this one. You've been brought along to the big park today, which did an excellent job of living up to its title. The park near your house, with its lonely playground equipment, wasn't even a quarter of the size of the expanse of grass and trees that lay before you now. As it was in the next town over, and too far for you to walk to by yourself, you didn't get to visit it much, and so you soaked up the environment. Oh, crap. Don't want to click on that. Another difference between this park and the one in your neighborhood was that this one had visitors other than you, Lizzie, Shiloh, and, of course, Cove. Cool, are we gonna get introduced to some new DLC characters? Sounds like fun. Today it was the busiest you'd ever seen it, thanks to... Sorry, I'm gonna stop for a second, that sounded so sarcastic. Today it was the busiest you'd ever seen it, thanks to a community get-together luring people in from all over the local area with the promise of barbecue and fireworks. Oh, is this like 4th of July? Your family and Coves were just two of many. What seemed like dozens of cars were parked up already when you had arrived. Cool. More people. You saw Cove hesitate as he took in the growing gaggle of strangers. By your mommy, Lizzie bounced on the balls of her feet, barely containing her excitement. Let's see, your tummy was already rumbling. No. Even if it was bigger, this park wasn't as special as the one back home. The crowd made you nervous. But you couldn't avoid coming to the event. Mommy had told you that the people running the community event weren't charging for it, but she wanted them to get something in return, which is why you'd not been allowed to touch the beautifully iced cupcakes she had carried on her lap during the drive over. It was a special treat for them. Every time the car made a turn, she'd clutch the box tight enough for her knuckles to strain, much to everyone else's amusement. Mr. Holden's contribution to the party, a huge Nope, we're gonna still stutter. A huge pack of Jukes boxes was tucked under his arm after being retrieved from the car's trunk. You bet there had been no such dramatics around that cargo getting here in one piece, but the boxes did lack the beautiful shimmer of Mommy's treasured cupcakes.
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie. Everyone all set? Should be. Cove, did you put sunscreen on before we left? Yeah, I always do. You don't have to tell me. Mr. Holden deflated, his attempt at caring for his son rebuffed, but he triumphed with a smile. Good kid. I don't want you getting burned, or dehydrated either. It'll be a busy day.
Well,
Don't think there's going to be any risk of that second part. Mom nodded at the tables up ahead, laden with all kinds of food and drink. She was right. There was plenty to go around. The parents headed over, with you, Lizzie, and Cove trailing after them. Stop clicking that. A bunch of grown-ups were clustered around there, chatting, but you were more intrigued by what was on the tables. Some of it was familiar: chilled meat, sliced vegetables, big bags of chips, but there was a lot that you didn't recognize. Your moms had said that you weren't to touch the food until they said it was time to eat. You didn't want to risk getting caught. It'd be bad if you got in trouble before the event had even started. You saw that Mommy and Mr. Holden had deposited the food and drink they'd brought. Mommy gave the cupcakes one final, worried look before turning to you with a smile. Since that's the topic at hand, how about we freshen up with something to drink?
Yeah.
That'd be great, dear. Along with the ones out, there was a giant ice cooler on the ground, stuffed full of cans of soda, boxes of juice, and milk, as well as bottles of water. Your drink was soda. The bubbles in soda tickled your nose as you gulped it down. Your little group took a break while everyone quenched their thirst. Mr. Holden smacked his lips, pantomiming enjoyment. Yeah, a nice Sprite on a hot summer's day. You can't beat that. The thirst quencher. Cove's dead. I don't usually read that part. That hit the spot, but you kids should go have fun. You can take your stuff with you and join the other kids playing games. Just don't go too far from the tables. We'll be keeping an eye out, so don't even think about sneaking off. We're not going to the other parts of the park today. She's the strict one. She doesn't look like she'd be the strict one, but I guess she is like the mom and she's the dad, so she's supposed to be like the fun one. Lizzie huffed at their comments. They did sound directed at her, but she scanned the surroundings, nodding her head towards a group of kids like a general directing their battalion. She pointed the way.
Come on, let's go over there.
Cove's mouth was downturned as he looked from the parents and the other adults to the new kids, clearly not favoring either option. But ultimately, he hunched his shoulders and tagged along after Lizzie. You went to play with the other kids too. I'm gonna follow Cove and Lizzie. I don't want to be the kid who hangs out with the parents. I'm good. You followed after Lizzie and Cove, who were waiting for you on the outskirts of the group of parents.
Hurry up.
You picked up the pace, moving into a jog, but when Lizzie pelted away at full speed, you and Cove had no choice but to break out into a run. The other kids were far out in the field. Still at your speed, it wasn't long until you reached them. As you approached, they turned around to greet the newcomers.
Hi, I'm Lizzie. That's my little sister, Aura. The one with the cast is Cove.
You offered a shy smile. Cove simply lifted a hand in greeting. Yo! There was a chorus of hellos and names from the other kids. One of the kids looked to be about Lizzie's age or older. A couple seemed to be the same age as you and Cove, and there was one tiny little thing with his arms folded over his chest.
What are you up to?
The first kid, a boy with curly black hair and neon green sneakers, who'd introduced himself as Hayden, shrugged as he looked to the others. Not much. The second kid to pipe up, Lisa, had half her face obscured behind the huge glasses she wore. Oh god, Lisa. We haven't decided yet. She glanced wistfully over her shoulder. Following her gaze, you saw the spray of water first, and heard the shriek as someone got splashed in the face before you spotted the person shooting them. Some people are playing with water guns, but there aren't any left. The smallest kid, Noah, grumbled at that. You guessed that was why he was skulking. Sulking, not skulking. Skulking's a different thing. Spencer, who hadn't said much, patted his shoulder. So that's out. A new kid raced over with a glint in her eyes and her braids streaming behind her. You spotted the plastic orange pistol in her hand too late, when the trigger had already been pressed. I am sprayed.
Rude!
Hey! Lizzie, who'd been caught first, was fuming. Cove wiped the water from his face. You rubbed at your ear, trying to dislodge the water that had pooled in there.
Watch out, he has a cast.
I laughed. It was pretty funny, and you were unhurt by the water trickling down your neck. It was just a joke. The girl simply darted off to find more victims, unaffected by your reaction.
She doesn't mean anything by it.
Lizzie tutted, flicking her hair out of her face. The girl not meaning anything by it didn't change the fact that she'd been sprayed. Cove looked similarly unimpressed. Lisa's face lit up as she had an idea.
Hey, we should catch her. She won't be able to spray people if she's running away from everybody. Yeah!
Cove nodded as the other kids murmured their interest, or lack of it, in the game. You nodded along. Sure, why not? You joined the group of kids in tearing off after the girl with the pistol. Spotting you all over her shoulder, she laughed and shot her pistol in the air. Only a couple of drops squeezed out. She swerved, causing discord within your team, as someone stood on your foot, and you collided with Cove's shoulder. Oh, please not the broken one.
Sorry.
Cove shot you a smile that gave you a feeling of camaraderie.
It's fine. Let's get her. It's okay.
You were closing in on the girl, but you weren't alone. Lizzie's face was set with intent, and the two older kids were hot on her heels too. You outran them with effort. I'm going to win this race. You pushed yourself, willing your legs to move just that bit faster. You were close, and then you tackled her to the ground. You did it! The girl who had been caught giggled as she got to her feet, brushing strands of grass from her knees. Smiling, Cove came to a stop at your side. Lizzie whooped with delight, clapping her hands. The boy with the bright sneakers grinned.
You're it now. Catch us if you can.
Yeah! I'll do it. You won't get away from me.
With that, you all dispersed, squealing and laughing as you tried to evade capture. The sour mood from earlier had evaporated entirely, replaced by a light and playful atmosphere. Several rounds later, when most of the kids had taken at least one turn as the scent of smoke wafted up to your nose. Caught by surprise, you looked up and found that the brilliant blue of the sky had turned orange as the sun sunk down on the horizon. With all the excitement, you'd lost track of time completely. God, this is fun. I like this one. This one's awesome. Looking over, you saw people standing over the grills and poking them to life. It was nearly time to eat. You know, this game has a lot of really good moments to it. I know that for the most part, these videos are just me narrating, and there's not much more to it than that. Besides, like, making some choices that are probably changing the story, and maybe it'll be more interactive later. But just the ability to be able to talk with the characters and kind of see where the story goes is really really awesome. I enjoy this game a lot. And I see why it's so popular.
We should get over there. I'm so hungry.
Our parents are at different spots.
Yeah.
Bye. It was cool playing.
Yep, bye.
You waved goodbye to the other group of kids before hurrying over to your parents with Lizzie and Cove. A tickle unfurled in your throat, growing more persistent as you came closer to the source of the smoke. As the three of you approached the tables, your parents spotted you and came to join you halfway. You tried to greet them, but another cough obstructed your words. Woof, that's quite a cough.
Oh.
Are you alright, sweetie?
I'm fine.
Are you sure? No one needs to go up to the grills if they don't want to. Just let me know what you need.
There was no response from the other two kids here.
I can do it.
Alright, but tell me if it gets too much for you. But tell me if it gets too much for you. If it gets to be too much for you. Yeah, little grammatical error.
So,
I'm not reading that one incorrectly, I don't think. Mom. The main thing being served is kebabs. You can have whatever you'd like on it. There's different meats and veggies. As you approached, you found the vast array of bits and pieces, ready to be skewered and served up. You chose... Potato. Ooh, potatoes are good, but... Oh, peppers are the best. Oh, I can choose multiple things. Potatoes... Beef... Onions... Zucchini... And pork. I'll leave off chicken and shrimp. Sounds good to me.
The veggies will be very good for you.
I'm guessing they would have said something about the meat if I would have not chosen any veggies. Order given, you waited for your food to be ready. Lizzie headed towards you, having issued her own request.
Hi again. I heard what you ordered. I'm getting a chicken kebab with all 3 colors of peppers.
Noticing that Cove approached, she turned to him.
What are you having?
why?
Why does it matter?
I don't know. I was just asking.
I'm getting beef and shrimp with all the vegetables except onions. Lizzie hummed, evaluating his response.
That's okay, I guess. But chicken is definitely the better one.
Then you can eat all the chicken.
I'm going to. All the chicken in the world?
No.
Oh, that's dumb. You know what I mean.
Lizzie peered over to the grills where the kebabs were being handed out. A growing assortment of kebabs collected in your parents' hands.
They're coming over. Don't get jealous of mine when you realize you made the wrong choice, Cove.
I didn't make the wrong choice.
There isn't a wrong choice. It's just what kebab everyone wants to eat.
Lizzie didn't seem to like that, but I agree. There is no wrong choice in your food preferences. I mean, I would have eaten everything there except the shrimp, but I'm just not a shrimp guy, personally. I like the, I'm a bigger fan of, like, other kinds of seafood. Salmon. If there was, like, salmon on there, I would have freaking grabbed that instantly. Salmon's amazing. Especially smoked salmon. The person serving gave your mommy one final kebab, then your parents moved over to rejoin you. Between them, they were carrying 6 kebabs, one for each of you, including Cove and Mr. Holden.
We've got the goods. Cove's dad is coming over for a place we can sit.
In the meantime, they began passing out the kebabs to their rightful owners. Lizzie smiled smugly as she received hers. Yeah, you're proud of your chicken. These are pretty big. Be careful not to drop it. Try not to poke yourselves with the ends either. They're sharper than you might think. Hearing that, you tentatively pushed the tip of the skewer against your finger. It felt like the point of a newly sharpened pencil. Though it didn't hurt your hand, you wouldn't want it scraping the roof of your mouth or jabbing your tongue. Mummy clucked her tongue. It would have been nice if the options were a little easier to manage and less messy to eat, especially for smaller kids. Or there aren't even plates for everyone, so we could set the food down for a second.
True.
That's what you get for the price of free. But we can hack it, right? Lizzie nodded her head vigorously, clutching her kebab like a trophy. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I get that there's some issue with that, and, you know, especially if there were tomatoes just fall right off the kebabs usually, but, you know. Your parents led you back to the tables. It was immediately evident why Mr. Holden had been sent to scout one out. The benches had been quickly filled up as people got their food. Mr. Holden was standing over a corner section near the edges of the sitting area. He beckoned your group over to join him. You clambered onto the bench, taking care not to let your kebab slip from your fingers. Cove took a seat next to you. Lizzie took the other side. Your mom passed the final unclaimed kebab to Mr. Holden.
Thank you.
Thanks. This looks delicious.
Thank you for getting us space out here. Everyone tucked into their food. You gobbled it up eagerly, only partially obstructed by the awkwardness. Jesus. I need to stop stopping when I do stuff like that. It's probably not a bothersome thing, but whatever. Of eating from a skewer. Running around with the other kids had helped you to work up an appetite. Yeah, exercise will do that.
Mr. Holden, what do you do?
Well, I do a lot of things.
Do you play golf?
Only if you count mini golf.
One look at Lizzie's stricken face confirmed that she did not. She could enjoy the occasional round at a mini golf place, especially if she had an audience to impress, but your sister took her passion very seriously.
Even then, it's been years since I gave it a shot.
Cove groaned at the Cove groaned at the feeble pun. Mom chuckled. You weren't sure if she was responding to the joke, Cove's annoyance, or Lizzie's offense.
Don't worry about it.
Just as well. She'd be dragging you to the green every week.
That's because I've got dedication. You need a good drive or two to get far.
Mr. Holden nodded, clicking his tongue in appreciation. Cove looked from his father to your sister, lost in the conversation.
Outclassed in golf and wit. I don't get it.
More golf stuff. You should give real golf a try. Maybe I'll even teach you some tricks.
Don't try to change my dad to be more like you.
Lizzie gave Cove a dirty look at the accusation. Mommy felt the need to move the topic ahead before it got heated. Cove's interesting.
Oh, nice.
That's really sweet of you.
That's really sweet of you. But I'm sure Mr. Holden is busy. He might not have time for another hobby.
Yeah, I don't think I'm made for that.
Still, the offer is appreciated, little miss.
Why?
Then tell me something you really do already. You just go away every day.
I like scuba diving. Though with the business, that's more work than play these days. Surfing, reading, snorkeling.
Oh, those are things that Cove likes. Wow, it's a good thing you live by the beach.
Those are things Cove likes.
Mr. Holden exaggeratedly puffed out his chest.
What can I say? My boy's got good taste. He takes after his dad in that way.
Oh, that's the end of the conversation. I was hoping to hear from Cove's point of view. Oh well. The sun had been setting when you got your food, and by the time you'd finished, night had truly fallen. Your sticky fingers were the only remaining evidence of your meal. I really want to learn more about Mr. Holden and his relationship with the mom. I want to figure out what happened. Maybe that's not something that will be expanded on in the game, because maybe that's just not what the focus of the game is. It seems to be more focused on the kids' lives. But I kind of am curious about it. Maybe in the older years we'll get to that point, but who knows? The kebab had been a great combination, more than the sum of its parts, the seasoning of freedom, to choose every ingredient yourself. Was what made it something to remember, was that. I thought that said that. Rising from the table, Mommy held up her water bottle.
Okay, now that the food is gone, you've got to wash your hands. Or, Lizzie, please hold them out.
Lizzie complied, coming over and cupping her hands together in front of her. Mommy splashed some water over her fingers, and Lizzie rubbed them together, working off any residue. Here. Mom passed her a paper towel from her purse, and Lizzie used it to dry off her hands.
Your turn, Aura.
You readily held out your hands to catch the water. Copying Lizzie, you washed your hands, taking care to clean every crevice between your fingers before wiping them dry. I'm not a grimy, gross kid. I'm gonna wash my hands. Nearby, Cove had taken his own course of action, wiping his hands on his pants and leaving a stain where his fingers had been. Mr. Holden shook his head.
Come on.
Let's clean that off, pal.
He scrubbed at the fabric with a scrunched up napkin.
Dad, it's not that bad.
When everyone was cleaned up, or as clean as they could be, with the limited facilities, Mom spoke up.
Let's go.
Let's go make one last check at the coolers and restock on drinks before the fireworks show. Lizzie,
No time. We got to get a good spot. Everywhere's gonna be taken.
How about I go ahead to save space again? You can meet up with me in the field after getting the drinks.
Then I'm going with Cove's dad. I'll find the perfect place.
Okay.
Sure thing. I could use an extra pair of eyes.
I'm glad that Mr. Holden has started to become more respected by the family. Like, Lizzie trusts him, I trust him. He seems like a really good guy. He seems to really care about his kid, and he seems very, like, attentive. He seems like a good dad. I'm betting the mom's probably... I'm betting that him and the mom probably just had some kind of situation where it was like they didn't get along anymore, but I'm hoping they still care about Cove, and that it's not a situation where Cove's, like, where the mom kind of just gave up on Cove and it's only the dad looking after him. Now, that'd be kind of sad. Mommy shook her head ruefully at Lizzie's even more enthusiastic than usual attitude.
That's fine.
All right, me, Cliff, and Lizzie can go find a place to sit. Pam, Cove, and Aura, do you want to go get the drinks?
Pam. So that's what my other mom's name is.
Okay.
You nodded. That seemed fine. As Mommy, Lizzie, and Mr. Holden headed off into the wide open field where the fireworks were being set up, you joined Cove and Mom in returning to the cooler where you'd picked up drinks earlier.
Stop clicking that.
Even as you approached, I'm trying to keep the mouse off the screen, but can I hit space to skip? Even as you approached, you expected you wouldn't find much in it. Where it had originally been stocked to the brim, it was now half empty. Yes, I can. The ice which had cushioned the drinks and kept them cool was largely melted, with only a handful of pieces floating the tiny icebergs. Slim pickings. The drinks that remained looked to be bottles of plain water, but you caught a glimpse of something more colorful in amongst them. Mom rummaged around in the cooler, excavating a couple of juice boxes from the bottom in the process. Aha! Or, Cove, you can take one of those if you want the perks of helping. You took a juice box to share and a water bottle for yourself. Cove hesitated, but decided to take a juice box for himself. When you were each loaded up with your chosen drink, plus an extra bottle or two for someone else in the group, Mom's phone started to ring. She juggled the water bottles over into the crook of her arm and looked at the caller. It's Mommy. Hold tight while I get this.
How are you?
Hey, hon, how's it going? Did you find our perfect spot already? She nodded along to the call, punctuated by ahas. As Mommy gave her directions, catching your eye, she gestured towards the grassy area. We've got a place. Come on, we'd better hurry before the show starts. You and Cove jogged after your mom, who led you through the field and the separate groups of people assembled there, back to the rest of your families.
Hello.
Hello, we're here, and we come bearing drinks, though there wasn't much left. The three of you handed over the spare drinks. You held up the extra juice box.
I brought this for someone.
How sweet.
You're so thoughtful, Laura. Despite Mommy replying pretty expectantly, there was just one person who made a claim to the sweet drink.
Can I have it? Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. I love you, Aura.
Aw. You two are a real pair. Now I feel bad. Damn it. Once everyone had been equipped with a drink for the big event, you sat on the grass beside Cove and waited for the magic to begin. Most people in the park had taken a seat now, with a few stragglers silhouetted back at the tables in the distance. A few rambunctious kids were still dashing about, but their number was steadily decreasing as their parents called them over and restored order. Someone bearing a cardboard box weaved between the groups, pausing every so often. You nudged Cove and pointed.
What are they doing?
It looks like they're handing something out. I can't make out what it is.
What a pickle.
I hope it's not drinks. Mummy chuckled, but Lizzie and Cove were now watching the bestower of mystery goods keenly.
Are they gonna come to us too?
Mom softly put her hands on top of your sister's shoulders, as if she feared Lizzie might bolt over to the stranger. Lizzie didn't even glance at her, eyes locked on the potential prize. I don't know.
In that case.
We'll have to wait and see. You were intrigued. Studying the man with the box closely, as he gradually meandered nearer, you could make out that he was handing out small items to most of the groups he stopped at. They seemed too short to be water bottles, but beyond that it remained a mystery. Then the box man made his way to your group.
Evening. I'm handing out dessert. Any takers? There's dessert?
Lizzie squealed, hopping off the ground. The man chuckled.
Ooh. I'm gonna take that as a yes. Ice cream's on the menu, vanilla flavored with a twist of either chocolate or strawberry syrup.
Nice.
Nice. None for me, though. Thanks.
Same, but the offer is appreciated. I want chocolate.
Can I have strawberry?
And a strawberry for me too, please.
Now you were going to have to make a decision. Chocolate or strawberry. I'm shy, but... You were lactose intolerant. God. That's a heavy decision for Aura. I don't think so. I'm gonna get strawberry. Reaching into the box, the man brought out the requested ice creams and tossed them out. It came packaged in a little plastic cup, complete with a wooden spoon stuck to the paper lid. The condensation wet your fingers in a pleasant way.
Thank you.
Thank you, kids. Are you going to thank the nice man, too? There was a chorus of thanks. He cordially nodded and walked off to another group. The man couldn't spend much time with each group, considering how many he had to get to. You peeled back the tab that covered the ice cream and got right into your unexpected treat. It tasted amazing. Lizzie was definitely enjoying hers. Cove was too. Lizzie munched away happily, but it ultimately didn't succeed in monopolizing her attention. Eyes wide, she looked at her mommy and pulled on her pants.
Please. I didn't get strawberry. Can I have some of yours, please?
Of course.
Of course, sweetie. Lizzie cooed with excitement as Mommy presented her with a dollop of ice cream and syrup mixture. Licking her lips, Lizzie lapped it up. Mommy, come on now. Lizzie has all the ice cream she needs. She simply laughed and pinched Lizzie's cheeks, then dug her spoon in again and held it out to you. I just can't resist. Aura, would you like some of mine? She's already got that flavor, but that's not the same as getting a little extra from your mommy. You passed on the bite. Thank you, but I'm fine. See? Aura knows how it is. It doesn't hurt to ask. Cove watched the exchange silently with a blank expression. Mom, on the other hand, shook her head, a fond smile on her face. Well, you better at least give me some, too. You could have gotten your own, if you wanted ice cream.
What?
What? The kids have ice cream already, and they're getting some of yours to boot, and I have nothing. Now is when you decide to be firm. Laughing, Mommy fed some ice cream to your sulking mom. She could never actually follow through with being tough.
There.
There. All better now? Yes. Good. How about you, Cliff? Would you like some? No, I'm still okay, but thanks for keeping me in mind. Cove, it's only fair that you get the choice too. Cove shook his head firmly, concentrating on his own cup. Momley smiled. Okay, as long as no one is feeling left out. Mommy was always so nice to everyone. You looked over at Cove. He was digging into his own ice cream, which bore the same pinkish red twirl as your own.
Want some of mine?
You held your spoon out to him. Glancing up at you, Cove cocked his head at a curious angle.
Huh?
I already have that one.
I want to share anyway.
Cove looked around awkwardly, but nodded nonetheless. You took out a bit of ice cream and held your spoon out to him. And after another furtive glance, he nibbled at it.
Oh.
Aww.
Mommy was gazing at the two of you. Her mouth was an open smile, as if she was about to say something, but Mom tugged on her collar. Don't embarrass them. Cove didn't appear to hear the exchange. God. This game's gonna make me sad later, and I know it, but hey, I'm here for the moment. It held it out for you to eat. You accepted the treat. In the end, that kind of made it pointless. You each just ate the same strawberry ice cream out of different cups. Your mommy didn't like to say it was the thought that counted, though. Your mommy did, not didn't.
Hey, if you're sharing too, I'll take some.
You already asked your mom to give you some.
So what? Mommy was gonna let you have a bite. You just didn't take it. You can have some of mine. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're the best.
She enthusiastically took a bite of your ice cream, before then offering you a bite of hers in exchange.
For you, but not for Cove. He doesn't think we should keep sharing.
She stuck her tongue out at him.
You're right. I didn't want it.
Ignoring that, she turned her attention back to her own cup of ice cream. Then the first of the fireworks cut through the sky, whistling as it ascended until it hit its crescendo with an explosion. The park flashed as if alight. Squealing, Lizzie leapt to her feet, her forgotten ice cream tumbling to the ground as the firework cracked into tiny drops of glitter in the sky.
It's starting.
Everyone else looked up to the sky as another firework whizzed through the air. With each explosion, Lizzie would jump into the air. It was impossible to tear your eyes from the scene. Cove sat by his dad, captivated by the sky sparkles and flashes overhead. Mr. Holden watched the fireworks scene impassively. He did smile at you, and even gave a thumbs up when he noticed you looking over. He's sad. He's just putting on a brave face. I mean, probably hasn't been that long since his breakup. Mommy hopped to her feet, pulling Mom with her, pushing her into joining Lizzie and jumping up in tandem with every crack of a firework. Mommy then bent down to offer you a hand up too. You got up to join your family, beckoning for Cove to join in. Cove got to his feet, tailing after you as you stood with your family. Your mom's face is lit up, literally and metaphorically, as you approached. The five of you shrieked and leapt along with the sparkles in the sky, not trying to contain your joy at experiencing the sight together. The fireworks continued, some twisting like the coil of a spring as they arched into the air, others shooting straight from the ground and shattering into a million tiny specks. Every color got its spotlight in the show, from fiery reds to eerie greens and blues that could rival the ocean. The show built up to a grand finale that boomed over the park and filled every inch of the sky, the twinkling lights representing the full spectrum of the rainbow. The exhilaration that had fueled you while the fireworks were going off was sapped dry now that the show had finally finished. You collapse into a giggling heap on the ground, suddenly aware of how your legs ached from your exertion. Cove tumbled down with you, his expression gleeful. Mr. Holden watched his son with an expression much happier than the one he'd worn while watching the show. Lizzie gave out a final whoop of delight and shared a high five with Mom as Mommy shouted for an encore into the night. You didn't know what that meant, but you liked the way it made Mom laugh. Though the sun had gone down long ago, the air on your bare arms was warm. You took in your giddy family, their spirits buoyed by the firework display, then your new friend and his father, who looked happy in their own quieter way, and smiled. This had been a pretty special night. Well, damn, I thought the ghost one was going to be my favorite. Nope, it was that one.